looks like on a state level, state by state, we can do some real pushback against these big tech companies who are engaging in such blatant censorship of conservative thought. Anti-Christian bigotry is massive now taking place. Pastors, sermons, ministries being taken off the air.
That's right.
It's a big concern.
It's a very big concern, and we can't just let this go. We can't just pretend it's going to go away on its own. And so we really do need to be on the lookout for ways in which we can constructively affect these companies. And maybe the only thing they understand is the bottom line. I do understand that these big tech companies, Twitter and Google, they've been hit by this, and Amazon as well, have been hit by their stock prices going down and market share going down. And so this may well be the best way to deal with this, because there's pluses and minuses to getting rid of Section 230. But if we can tell these folks that no, we will not tolerate this, maybe it takes care of the problem in and of itself.
Yeah, if enough states do that. Florida's a major state.
Yeah.
If they're disqualified potentially down the road of being able to do business with people in Florida, that would take a huge hit from their revenue.
Absolutely.
It's, I think, Florida. Then you have Texas. If Texas steps up, Texas is now the second most populated state in the country.
Right.
So, I think that as those states step up, I think they can have a big impact. And but people, in addition to the massive need for voter fraud legislation, to fight against future voter fraud. That's a major tyranny we have to deal with legislatively.
Sure.
Another one is we have to deal with big tech censorship, because it's scary when we lose the ability to communicate our ideas and thoughts. This country will go down fast. And I think that needs to be one of the major focuses this year for our legislature, not just the Congress, but also the state legislatures.
Yeah, and it's important that over our history, the case law has found ways to adapt to new realities. So, for instance, in California, you can go into a mall and share your faith because it's treated like Main Street of old. In the old days, you'd go down to Main Street, and that's where everybody did their business, did their talking, talked about politics. And realizing this many years ago, they realized that in the courts, or in California anyway, with our Constitution, that we could have that free right. It's not the same in every state, but we could have a right to go into these malls. I just use that only as an example of the fact that sometimes the law has to evolve given technology and given the way things are. And right now, these folks, they get a lot of good for, a lot of financial good for having this huge market share. And so I think they're going to have to develop principles that are effective in allowing people to have a free voice. Not for violence sake, but free voice for different ideas. And that's what they're prosecuting, not just violence. They're prosecuting and persecuting the people with having differing ideas from the mainstream.
Yeah, and it's such a shame. Just as before shopping malls became the form of expression and interaction and community, the internet, that is the new shopping mall.
Exactly.
That's the new Main Street.
That's right.
Without question. I'm concerned about a new website that's come up, a new platform, and it's very concerning. You're familiar with it. It's an alternative that conservative websites are using.
Right. The Parler app?
Yes, the Parler app.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're concerned. They've expressed concern. They've already been taken off. I think it was Google that took them off.
It was Amazon.
Or Amazon took them off. They're concerned that they're not going to be allowed to be brought back on.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what happens then? I mean, this is we look like we have an alternative platform. They may not be coming back on. They may have to find another entity to work with other than Amazon.
Yeah.
But that's very concerning that Amazon would be that brutal. It makes me almost not want to do business with Amazon.
Yeah, it really, me too.
Start doing business with Walmart.
Yeah.
And some of these other, platforms to buy goods and services.
Yeah, it's really concerning because Parler, I was listening to their CEO saying that it might be, they might be already destroyed. The reason is because it's Amazon Web Service. That's who services serviced in the past tense their site, and what they did is they pulled all of Parler off of there, which that destroys the coding, all the stuff that they did to build that website. That's destroyed already. And so Parler is concerned we may not be able to get back. And to think that a company had the power to stop this simply because they disagreed and because there was too many people opposing the left or whatever in this country, it's very, very concerning. And I'll be following. They have filed a lawsuit, and I'm following that case to see what happens. I think it'll be a very interesting case.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because this kind of a case is one where you could have a liberal or conservative judge go either way. Those that believe in free speech, we could have it could go either way. Yeah. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out. Amazon, Facebook, Google, Twitter, Apple are all to the left. Yeah. That is their ideology. They pushed that out. They censored this, massively this last year, thoughts and ideas,
right,
in just despicable ways.
Absolutely.
So, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because I do believe that this is the new free speech forum. At the very least, I want to see states stepping up and people putting pressure on state legislators to say, as for our state, we will not allow this kind of tyranny to happen again. If they're going to want the benefits of a free speech forum, then they need to act like one.
Exactly.
It's that simple.